From the Mumbai studios of Republic TV, it's time for The Debate.
The Debate at 10, presented by GeoMart, powered by Reva University and Greenply.
Thank you for staying with us on The Debate. A sitting minister in Kerala has brazenly not just run down the constitution but overtly derided it and the drafters of the constitution. Now he turns around and says this evening that his statements were distorted. But it makes no sense. Tonight the left must answer why a minister who took an oath to swear allegiance to the constitution and they betrayed it. He's still in office. Here's the story and then we debate.
At a CPIM meeting in Patnamthitta, the Kerala Minister for Fisheries and Cultural Affairs, Saji Cherian, launched an aggressive tirade against the Constitution of India.
ബ്രിട്ടീഷുകാരൻ പറഞ്ഞ് തയ്യാറാക്കി കൊടുത്ത ഒരു ഭരണഘടന ഇന്ത്യക്കാർ എഴുതി വെച്ചു. ഈ രാജ്യത്ത് ഏറ്റവും കൊള്ളയടിക്കാൻ പറ്റിയ ഏറ്റവും മനോഹരമായ ഒരു ഭരണഘടന ഇന്ത്യ എഴുതി വെച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്.
The overt insult to the Constitution and the drafters has triggered outrage. The Kerala minister now claims his remarks were distorted, but the opposition is not impressed by the defense.
Saji Cherian has done a mistake. He has not expressed anything that he has done a mistake. He expressed his regret only. What all things he has said is correct or not. He is telling the media is distorting it. News report, press reports, all things he has examined. He said that.
Now, there are growing demands for his resignation. Both the Congress and the BJP are united in this demand.
വളരെ ഗുരുതരമായ ഒരു ആക്ഷേപം ഉന്നയിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് ഇന്ത്യൻ ഭരണഘടനയെ അവഹേളിച്ചുകൊണ്ടും ഭരണഘടനാ ശില്പികളെ അപകീർത്തിപ്പെടുത്തിക്കൊണ്ടും മതേതരത്വത്തെയും ജനാധിപത്യത്തെയും തള്ളിപ്പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ടും അദ്ദേഹം സത്യപ്രതിജ്ഞാ ലംഘനം നടത്തിയിരിക്കുകയാണ്. അദ്ദേഹം ഒരു നിമിഷം പോലും മന്ത്രിയായി കസേരയിൽ ഇരിക്കാൻ യോഗ്യനല്ല. അദ്ദേഹം രാജിവെക്കണം. രാജിവെച്ചില്ലെങ്കിൽ ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട മുഖ്യമന്ത്രി മന്ത്രിസഭയിൽ നിന്ന് അദ്ദേഹത്തെ പുറത്താക്കണം.
I'm not surprised that the government of the Chief Minister has not asked him for any explanation. They may not ask, but I think if he doesn't ask, I think the governor should call for his dismissal.
But the Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan is silent. Can the left-led regime get away with this atrocious tirade against the holiest document of Indian democracy? Let's debate.
Joining us on the debate are George Kurian, General Secretary of the BJP in Kerala. I have Srijit Panikar, political analyst, Deshwata Nigam, Advocate Supreme Court, K.S. Savarinandan, who is a former MLA State Vice President, Youth Congress, and Vikraman, spokesman of the VCK, joining us in the debate this evening, along with Professor D.K. Giri, political commentator. Bikram Banerjee is a lawyer. Professor Arunabha Ghosh, retired professor of political science, Rabindra Bharati University. But I'd like to start by quoting Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. It's here. And these are writings and speeches. And maybe it will put in context the debate that we're having this evening. Dr. Ambedkar wrote, and I'm reading from this, the condemnation of the Constitution, he said, and we have a graphic, I'll also put that out. He said the condemnation of the Constitution comes largely from two quarters. The Communist Party and the Socialist Party. And he also said, why do they condemn the Constitution? Is it because it is really a bad Constitution? He said, I venture to say no. The Communist Party wants a constitution based upon the principle of the dictatorship of the proletariat. Now, I can go on and on quoting from Dr. Ambedkar, but how is it a slip of the tongue? That was my first question. How is it a slip of the tongue? Srijit Panikar, is it a slip of the tongue?
Absolutely not, Niranjan. Niranjan, as per the Prevention of Insults to National Honor Act of 1971, nobody can desecrate the Constitution. You can criticize it but not desecrate it. Now, criticism or disapprobation should be lawful and with a view to bringing an amendment to make some changes. But what the Kerala Minister, Mr. Saji Cherian, has done is a clear act of desecration. He insulted not just the Constitution, but the Constitution makers and the specific principle of democracy by using slang modifiers derisively. So he said the principle of democracy existed just for the sake of existing by using some vernacular language. He questioned the integrity of the Constitution makers by saying that the British dictated everything to them and they just had to write them down. So this is akin to calling B.R. Ambedkar and others as British agents or stooges. Now, he said the Constitution was designed to commit the act of plundering and that it did not protect the interests of the laborers. This minister must know that he has the luxury of taking membership in various trade unions today and also associations because the Constitution gives him the right to do that. Forced labor was nullified by the Constitution, not by the first communist government in Kerala. Child labor, it was rescinded by the Constitution, not by the communist government. Gender equality and equal pay for laborers was guaranteed by the Constitution. Humane working conditions, this was ensured by the Constitution. Maternity benefits, all the benefits that women enjoy today were granted by the Constitution. So none of these he can claim as an achievement of the communist government. Now he is saying that unless and until this communist government was there, nothing of this sort existed. So by speaking against the Constitution, the minister has effectively breached his oath, whereby he had declared his allegiance and true faith to the Constitution. He desecrated national honor. So such a person, I believe, should not continue as a minister or even as an MLA. It has been several hours. There has been precedence to this, but the chief minister has not acted. So there is a gross injustice that is on the part of the chief minister. I'm expecting and hoping that the governor has decided to give the right of first action to the chief minister, and if he does not take due action, I believe that the governor will take action. If that does not happen,
no, I don't think the governor is going to take action. The governor is not going to take action because I just got some breaking news update. The governor has said that it's up to the chief minister to act. The chief minister is not going to act, going with the chief minister's mood right now. He's not going to act. But let me get in Bikram Banerjee. Bikram Banerjee, how is it a slip of the tongue, Bikram Banerjee? How is it a slip of the tongue when this minister mentions the word Constitution 8 times? How is it a slip of the tongue when Saji in his entire address has mentioned the Constitution 8 times, and in all these mentions he was belittling how the Constitution was plundering the common man?
See, the minister has already stated made his comments that his words have been distorted. I want to put some questions which was running in my conscience. That how did India become independent? Can anyone answer? Legally, India became independent by virtue of an act passed in British Parliament. Why did we accept it? This is my first question. The second question is, when India became independent, the first Governor General was not the citizen of India. The first Governor General, Lord Mountbatten, was the citizen of British constituency. He was a British citizen. The third part is, if you see the Indian laws, so far as the Indian laws that is practiced throughout the country, Indian Penal Code, Indian Evidence Act, Transfer of Property Act, all have been taken from the British period.
So you do have questions over the Constitution?
Acts, only some of the acts which has been passed in the Parliament. Yes, of course.
Yes.
The Constitution, the way it has been framed, the way it has been framed, I say that I abide by the Constitution. Till such time the Constitution is there, I will definitely abide by it. But any person can have a right to criticize it. When a bill is being brought in the Parliament, any person criticizes it. 105 times the Constitution has been amended. Can I not pray? Can I not say to amend some portions of the Constitution of India? Can I not question when India became independent, the act was passed in the British Parliament? Why? Why? If you go to Bangladesh Constitution was drafted there. They have fought for their independence. We have also fought for their independence, for our independence. But legally, technically, our independence have been framed by the British Parliament. I see it in this fashion. It is a fact and one has to accept it. Any person has to accept it.
But you just proved my point that you had a problem with the Constitution. Sabarinathan, should he have resigned? I think going by whatever is happening...
No, I abide by the Constitution. What I want to say is I abide by the constitution.
You may.
Whatever is there in 395 articles, I abide by it.
Yes.
I abide by it. But do I have a right? Do I have a right to say anything what is written in the constitution? Do I have a right to amend, to say for amendment of any part of the constitution? Constitution give me the right.
Okay, I'm getting it. Sabarinathan. Let Sabarinathan respond to you. DK Giri is on your side, but even he is disagreeing with you. I'll get Sabarinathan. Sabarinathan of the Congress party, yes.
Essentially, the reason why the Congress and the Youth Congress are insisting that the minister should resign is that A, he is not an ordinary layman, he's an educated person, the topmost functionary of the Communist Party in Kerala. He is also a minister. The very fact that he took his oath of office, what does the oath of office of a minister say? That you solemnly affirm or swear in the name of God that I bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India. So technically, if a minister goes on to say in a public venue that he doesn't believe in the Constitution, or rather the Constitution was written by Indians under the diktat of the British, or the fact that the Constitution does not provide any succor to the common man, a person, if he believes that the Constitution of India is so bad, there is technically no logic in him continuing in his position as a minister, where he has sworn allegiance to the same Constitution. The second thing is that, as we told earlier, there is a clear section under the Prevention of Insult to the National Honor Act of 1971, which clearly states that any person who tries to raise the Constitution or similar, the national flag, has to, and it's a criminal offence as per the Act is what I understand. And another thing to know is that Mr. Sajicharyan has always had a history of making statements like this. A couple of months back, there was a huge anti-Silver Line Kerala agitation happening in Kerala. The hub of all the activities was his constituency. He went to the extreme of calling the people who were agitating against the Kerala workers, they called them terrorists and anti-nationals. So the same narrative that the BJP government or people linked to them, the same words that were used against people in Delhi, using the same words against poor protesters. And one more thing is that if you look at the history of the Communist Party in Kerala, it was not in India, it was not till like 2021 that the CPM officially celebrated the Independence Day. In fact, if you remember the slogans of the 1970s and the 80s, Indian Union Constitution, the anti-people constitution, they used to call it the anti-labor constitution. We don't want this constitution, we will burn this constitution. Honorable, the first Chief Minister of Kerala, Shri M.S. Namboodirippa, venerable politician from Kerala, he in fact was charged guilty by the Honorable Court for stating the Constitution and the Court. So we feel that the minister is not an illiterate person. This was not a...
Now, how can he be an illiterate person? How he's not an illiterate person? You ask Vikraman, right? Vikraman, you know, Vikraman, the dictionary definition of slip of tongue is when you say something by accident like a minor mistake. Okay, slip of tongue. That's what is a slip of a tongue. For example, imagine if Sajicharyan had said contribution instead of constitution. That would have been slip of the tongue. Or if he had said the Constitution of America instead of Constitution of India, that would have been slip of tongue, right? But this man has gone on a tirade against the Constitution of India. And I want to ask you also, Vikraman, can you imagine you have comments like this made a day after you had a MP, former telecom minister called A. Raja, almost hinting at secession, threatening secession. You know, these comments really are very dangerous, Vikraman. Very, very dangerous.
Which is dangerous? That is not dangerous.
Why you want a separate country?
Right. No, that has been a demand ever since Dravida Kazhagam has been formed.
You want a separate country?
No, he was saying the country will be separated if the rights of the states is not respected. Is what he is saying. He was saying, do not push us to that level, is what he's saying.
No, one second. But can you even be talking about that? Can you even be nurturing the idea of secession? I think it's a very dangerous argument there, Vikraman. Very dangerous argument.
Put this question to Mr. Amit Shah. You'll have to put this question to Mr.
I'm asking you, Vikraman, who is an ally of the DMK.
Yes, I'm saying they are the ones who are pushing it. They are the ones who are saying one nation, one culture, one nation, one language,
Nobody has said that.
One nation, one race.
Nobody has said that.
No, your Amit Shah, your Home Minister Amit Shah has been saying this.
He's your Home Minister also, huh? He's your Home Minister also.
Yes, he will be the home minister of ours also when he is respecting our language, when he is respecting our state, when he is respecting
Very dangerous argument. I'll let Deshwatan respond to you.
No, let me finish.
Yeah, you make your point and I'll get Deshwatan in. You may complete your point and I'll get Deshwatan in.
Yes, let me answer what has been just said by panelists is something very dangerous. It amounts to treason. The person can be prosecuted along with A. Raja. And what the minister said is something, it's not a slip of tongue, can never be a slip of tongue. The constitution does not allow...
Can you prosecute Shakshi Maharaj? Can you prosecute Nupur Sharma? No, you have not prosecuted.
They're all being prosecuted.
All prosecutions are going on. All prosecutions are going on. I think you're very ignorant. Sir, you are very ignorant. All those cases are going on in the court of law. You are very ignorant. You are very ignorant, sir. With due regards, you are very ignorant. Please listen. Please listen to me, then you will answer properly. Please listen to me, don't interrupt, then you can answer me properly. Let me tell you, the Nupur Sharma, there is a case going on. It has been seized by the courts. Don't interrupt in between. I don't like this indiscipline. I don't like this indiscipline. I never interrupted you. I did not interrupt you. Learn how to debate on a TV.
Okay, I will enforce some discipline. I will enforce some discipline. Vikraman, this is one debate. This is one debate, one law. Okay, one debate, one law. Okay, let's not speak over each other. Let's not speak over each other. That's my only thing. Let's not speak over each other. Let's not speak over each other. Yes, Nigam, complete your point.
Niranjan, I never disturb anybody during a debate, you have noticed. And DK Giri is also aware of that. Let me also, our constitution does not, loot people. Instead it empowers people. And once it empowers people through various process and various, rights, fundamental rights, legal rights, reservation, you cannot say it loots people. It is the people who are supposed to uphold the constitution are the ones who are looting. Look at the Kerala's smuggling case that you have. Look at the pensions they give it to their party members, life pension to their party members. Is that not looting? Now look at the Jeep scam which happened in 50s. Look at the Bofors scam. Look at the Spectrum scam. It's not the constitution which is looting the people. It is the people who are supposed to uphold the constitution are looting the nation. And we have laws to punish them. And it has been punished by various laws. People have been punished. Now the communist people they are anarchists. They want to, change everything through barrel of gun and create anarchy in this country. And you have got those red corridors from Gadchiroli to Chhattisgarh to Jharkhand where bomb explosions take place. This is that mentality. And that mentality has to be crushed by any means. Our constitution provides that mentality.
Can I get Professor Arunabha Ghosh to respond to you there? Can I get Arunabha Ghosh? Professor Arunabha Ghosh.
Can I get in?
Yeah, okay, I'll give you 30 seconds. Vikraman, I'll give you 30 seconds and I'll bring in Professor. Yeah. Vikraman and then Professor. Yes, Vikraman.
See.
And I'll request...
See, insulting constitution, we are not going to allow it. The Chief Minister of the state will take a necessary action against the minister, his cabinet colleague. That is different. What I'm saying is, BJP has...
Allow me to talk. Yes, sir. Professor, I just want Vikraman to complete his point. Vikraman of the VCK is completing his point and then I'm going across to Professor. Yes. Vikraman, quickly. Yes, Professor is waiting to speak. Yeah, okay.
Yes. Okay. But BJP has no right to say that, somebody has insulted the constitution. It is BJP who is insulting and undermining the constitution and undermining the values of the constitution. See, the basic structure of the constitution is liberty, equality and fraternity. What is happening to the fellow citizens of this country, the fellow minorities of this country? A person who has been alleged to have held some cow beef is being linked to death.
Okay, that's it. Okay, you're going completely out of syllabus right now. 1 minute.
And what happened to Teesta Setalwar?
Teesta Setalwar has nothing to do with this. 1 second. Where are you getting Teesta Setalwar from? No, 1 minute. Where are you getting Teesta Setalwar from? That's another debate. We've debated it. We've debated it. What is your question about Teesta Setalwar? We'll answer it after. No, this is not the Teesta Setalwar debate, please.
Does not have any right to speak about constitution. It is this party, BJP.
Teesta Setalwar had nothing to do with the constitution. Okay, I want to get in, Professor.
Equality before law. Why is Chief Shatterwal arrested?
1 minute. Okay, I'll tell you. We'll speak after this debate ends. But this debate is not on Teesta Setalwal. 1 minute. Let me get in Professor Arunabha Ghosh and George Kurian. Professor Arunabha Ghosh, this minister Saji Cherian claims that an Indian wrote a constitution that was prepared by the British. Factually incorrect. DK Giri can also come in after that. He also claims that the constitution of the country has been written in such a manner to loot the maximum number of people. Professor Arunabha Ghosh.
I'll react to this comment in some specific points I'll make. First, Saji Cherian spoke in Malayalam. So we are now discussing the thing with the help of an English translation. I don't know whether the term insults. He says the constitution helps
Malayali, sir.
usurping
I know it was an insult.
the wealth of the people. Sometimes what happens, people make mistakes by referring to the constitution when they are actually thinking in terms of the functioning of the state. I'm not going to defend this comment, but what I'm trying to say is that it is a fact that in India, inequality persists even after 72 years of our constitution. And whether we are going to blame the constitutional provisions for that, or we are going to blame the implementation part of these constitutional provisions. Sometimes we make mistakes by confusing between the constitution and the government.
Yes.
I think this minister was actually trying to point it out that the constitutional provisions are not successful in eliminating discrimination and inequality even after 72 years of our independence.
Professor.
Functioning of the constitution.
Professor,
that point is well taken.
Yeah,
Professor. He actually makes constitution helps in usurping the wealth of people. Constitution helping in usurping the people and constitution usurping the wealth of the people.
Professor.
Things. So helping, that means, in legal terms, helping means it is not going to help the poor, it's not going to help the labor, it's not going to help the...
Why are you blaming the constitution? No, I'm okay, but can you blame the constitution for it? I'm a little confused, Professor. Professor, there are three Malayalis. There are three Malayalis, three gentlemen from Kerala who on the other side, Sabarinathan, Srijit, and even George Kurian. They're all amazed with that explanation. They want to respond to you. I'll give George Kurian the first go, and then the others will come in. George Kurian, and then Professor DK Giri can come in. Yes,
it is a
you heard the professor.
Breach of oath, and we have a president in Kerala, R. Balakrishna Pillai. He was a minister in Kerala and he has committed the same breach of oath. Then the Kerala High Court held that breach of oath requires a termination of tenure of office. Kerala High Court held that breach of oath requires a termination of tenure of the office. This power can be executed by the appointing authority.
I'm audible.
Yes, we can hear you, Professor. We can hear you. You're getting in responses to that rather, long-winded defense of the statement. You give him a benefit of doubt, to which some of the panelists are responding to you. George Kurian was responding. Yes, George Kurian, quickly. I'll get in Professor DK Giri after that.
Yes. That is why, according to Article 164(1), either the minister should be removed. That authority is the minister, chief minister, or the governor. There is a president, and the High Court of Kerala already held that this is the condition. Then there is no confusion in Kerala. The former minister in 1985, he resigned. He was a part of this UDF Congress ministry. Now the same thing should happen in Kerala. That time, the chief minister of Kerala, Pinarayi Vijayan, demanded the resignation of the minister. And the court held that
No, George Kurian, George Kurian, Professor mentioned, yes, 1 minute.
At a point.
No, 1 minute, sir. I'm getting a lot of responses. In fact, the Congress spokesperson on the debate looks extremely amused by your response. When you spoke of inequality, they were wondering whether you forgot a scam called the Kerala Gold Scam. Inequality of how some of the senior most leaders try to make gains through corrupt means. I think Sabarinathan and Srijit are coming in now. And Professor Giri, why don't you take that? Professor Giri, you've been listening to all the different responses coming in. And then I'll get in Srijit and Sabarinathan.
Yeah. Look, I'll be very brief. You have too many panelists. You see, I've been a student.
One single sentence.
Sure. I've been a student. Can you hold on, gentlemen? Yeah, he will give you time. I have been a student of JNU, citadel of Marxism, but I have no sympathy for Marxist. That said, the minister's intent, when I looked at the speech in English, the minister's intent was not wrong. His choice of words about the constitution may be questioned. He was talking about exploitation. He was talking about rich exploiting the poor. Then perhaps he meant that constitution is being circumvented to exploit the people. But he did not have the right choice of the words really. But I think if you look at the whole speech, he was talking of inequality, exploitation, for time immemorial. That is the Marxist philosophy. But when he said that constitution, hold on gentlemen, don't be ridiculous. Wow, what is this? I am saying this gentleman's choice of words were wrong. And the constitution is sacrosanct. But constitution can be amended. Constitution is a political document. We are respectful to constitution. But to say that constitution has been written to exploit the people is wrong. I am saying, looking at the whole speech, maybe his intent was not that. He did not have the right words. But if you know better than that, I leave the floor to you. This is what I read. I am not from Kerala. I am not following Sagittarian's biography or politics. What I read from the statement, any reasonable man, intelligent man will conclude that he was talking about a theme of exploitation and he mixed up the constitution with his philosophy.
Why was he attacking the constitution?
If he meant that constitution is circumvented. No, that's what I'm saying. His choice of words were wrong. See, he was trying to say that constitution is circumvented, and that is correct. That is correct.
But how do you choose your words wrong? Professor Giri, how do you choose your words wrongly? Now, 1 minute. How do you choose your words wrongly 8 times in a single sentence?
Now, people do that. People do. Look at Haryana Chief Minister. I have heard many ministers. I have written a book on that, Niranjan. On the choice of words.
No, I think it was deliberate. Professor Giri, you're fooling yourself, Professor Giri. Professor Giri, you're fooling yourself. It was deliberate. It was deliberate, Professor Giri. Come on, Giri. Professor Giri. Okay, Sabarinathan and Srijit are very amused. Okay, they want to respond to you. I'll give the gentleman 30 seconds to respond. Srijit can go first or Sabari can go first. Yeah.
I am reading the statement.
Okay, yeah. So, trust me, nothing was lost in translation. I am a native Keralite and I know Malayalam. And trust me, there is nothing that is lost in translation. So, if at all we lost something, it would only lessen the intensity of what the minister actually said. See, I heard a gentleman batting for the other side in this debate asking whether you can criticize the constitution. Yes, you can. You can. Hello, I'm hearing my own voice as feedback. But you can criticize and you can level criticism and disapprobation. That is allowed perfectly. But you cannot desecrate. That's a word. You cannot desecrate the constitution. See, for instance, the minister used scornful language to refer to the principles of democracy and secularism. He used the Malayalam words Kundam and Kodachakram. Trust me, he used the Malayalam words Kundam and Kodachakram. I do not know the exact translation of these. Kundam would stand for spear and Kodachakram would be like an umbrella spike or an umbrella wheel. How do you equate the principles of democracy and secularism to spear and umbrella spike? Explain. So if at all something is lost in translation, it would only weaken what the minister has said. It would lessen the intensity of what he has said. So criticism is fine, but it cannot cross over to desecration. See, British dictated the constitution to the Indian constitution makers. Is that desecration? Is that or is that an expression of opinion? He said the constitution was designed to promote plundering or pillage. How can that be?
All of us here know that.
Only because I'm short of time. Somebody else.
Sajicharian is a very eloquent politician. He doesn't mince his words.
The gentleman Sabri or whoever, he has limited knowledge of the constitution. He is talking about secularism. Secularism dead. Secularism buried deep in our country. There is no secularism. Does you want to debate on that? Talk of democracy.
Is there no democracy also? Is there no democracy also? Because he compared that with Kundam, spear. He compared it with spear. Democracy is democracy spear for you. Is democracy an umbrella spike for you?
No, 1 minute.
Secularism is a misconception.
Niranjan, the people who are batting for the other side are doing an even worse crime than what Sajicharian did.
No, I don't know what
these people are doing. A worse crime and a crime of greater dignity than what Mr. Sajicharian did.
Explain to me secularism. Let you explain to me what secularism is.
And this words were spouted by him during CPM's official party meeting. So it is very clear that the intent of Sajicharian was to desecrate the constitution and to convince upon his audience that the constitution has not had
No, that's too strong a word. I was not thinking.
I'll tell you what secularism is. 1 minute. I'll tell you what secularism is. You asked me a question. You asked a question. Somebody asked a question.
Yes.
What is secularism?
Please.
Sir,
no, I didn't ask you. I asked that gentleman.
No, that's what. I'll tell you because this was specific at the left. Professor Giri, not me. This was specifically. No. I wanted to ask. Okay. Let somebody. Okay, somebody wants to respond. Somebody is responding.
Can I come in?
Yes.
You
let him speak.
Not essentially on secularism.
I want somebody to explain to me secularism.
And how, as per him, has failed, and how the constitution has been designed by people under the dictate of the British. How demeaning is it? You know that Dr. Ambedkar. There was almost work happening over 2 years and 11 months and 18 days. Such a notable constitution, the lengthiest constitution in the world, which has been appraised and complimented by everybody from across different schools of thought. How does a minister...
We all know that, man. Don't be esoteric, gentlemen. Don't be esoteric.
Okay.
I asked you a question, answer me. Don't be esoteric. We all know.
So secularism is secularism giving the PFI, is secularism allowing the PFI which indoctrinates kids saying that Hindus and Christians will meet their end? Is that secularism? Giving a free run to the radical PFI?
Niranjan, I don't believe in secularism. Niranjan, I'm telling you there is no secularism in the country.
Okay.
I don't believe in secularism. I am the one. I don't believe secularism buried fathomless. Secularism is dead. It is a non-starter. Secularism did not work in this country, will not work in this country. I am making this statement.
Okay. On that note, we have a fantastic debate number 3 coming in where we are going to question all parties for taking a junket and a study tour. That's coming up next. But I'd like to thank all our panelists for joining us on this debate number 2.